If you're looking for an action escape, the new Spanish Netflix movie Xtreme might be just what you're looking for. 2 years after his brother betrayed their family, a retired hitman named Max is finally ready to enact revenge. His carefully crafted plan is sped up when the brother's men viciously murder the family of a teenage boy he has taken under his wing. With nothing left to lose, Max will face his brother's henchmen one by one until he gets to his ultimate target. This is pretty stylistic, and there's an opening scene that feels a lot like John Wick, except without the reality of having to reload your weapon. This is an action revenge movie with a lot of violence. I mean, it is bloody and brutal, and at times it's pretty exciting. Unfortunately though, the camera work and film quality aren't always great. Sometimes it looks like a fight scene that took place on a soap opera. And the film quality for the entire movie is uneven at best. Sometimes it's cinematic, while other times it feels like it was shot on a very low-end camera because the quality is pretty sketchy. Now the setup is a little generic and predictable. There's a bad guy who betrays some people and in the process makes a very big enemy. And then to make matters worse, the bad guy is ruthless and doesn't care about who gets hurt or killed, which then makes the enemy that much more dangerous. And in this case, the bad guy is named Lucero. He's kind of flashy and he's quite arrogant, but it does work for his character. The enemy he makes is his brother Max, and Max is already a really tough and lethal guy. So to piss him off even more and make him come after you just doesn't bode well for your longevity on Earth. All of the setup can really be seen from far off. I mean, I don't think the film was trying to be misdirecting or clever. It knew it was a straight up action revenge flick, and it fully embraces it. There are story complications that are thrown in to make us care a little more about certain characters, and then to make others even more despicable than they already were. Now for the action, it gets crazy and there is a ton of it. I mean, during one scene, there's a fight in a bathroom that's pretty inventive and kind of funny amidst all the violence. And each time there's a fight scene, the environment gets used as a part of the weaponry, and I enjoyed that creativity. It's not always gunfights or fistfights, but all kinds of objects are used to inflict physical punishment. And sometimes the fights looked amazing and really well choreographed. But other times, the fight choreography was just a little lazy. For example, one villain at a time attacks while the others just wait back, instead of everybody ganging up and attacking at once. But that being said, there were other fights where they're more one-on-one, and that action, along with the camera work, are just great. It's obvious in these times that the camera blocking was rehearsed a ton with the actors so that it could push in and pull out at all the right times to put us into the action and then spin us around to give us a brand new perspective. And with all the violence in this, there's a certain brutality and callousness that I just wasn't expecting. It was a little shocking at points to see what the narrative would have the characters do to each other. Now to go along with the predictable and simple storyline, the dialogue is also not stellar. It's overly dramatic at times too. Like one character says over the phone in this gravelly voice, "I have a plan. I'm going to kill them all." That's not the greatest writing, but it did fit with the tone of the movie, so at least it's consistent. The movie clocks in at just under 2 hours, and while that may seem like it's a little long based on the content, I didn't feel the time. I think because they pack in so many different violent scenes that are each more than just several minutes long, it helps to keep the pace moving rather swiftly. Now this isn't highbrow storytelling or even groundbreaking ideas, but here's the deal. If you're looking for a violent action escape, this is going to provide exactly what you're looking for. It doesn't get bogged down by an overly complex plot or bother with things like amazing storytelling. It promises crazy and brutal violence with a plot that makes sense, and that's exactly what it delivers. The characters are developed just enough to know who they are and slightly care about their goals, but we're not so invested in them that we're thinking about them once the movie ends. Violence, bloodshed, and revenge with a touch of nobleness thrown in is what you get when you watch Xtreme. It's a fun escape for just under 2 hours. There's no sex or nudity, a bunch of profanity, and an absolute ton of bloody and brutal violence. I give Xtreme 3 out of 5 couches. So what are you watching right now? Anything that you could recommend? I'd love to know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.